teaching the reading lesson today.
Yay!
So you should all treat me with the same respect you treat Miss D. And she'll be coming back. She's in a meeting right now. She should be back soon.
Hi, Miss Lou.
Okay. Everyone find a seat. There's nothing on the computer. Don't worry about it.
Oh, there is something on the computer.
Ew! Come on, it's a blank screen. Okay.
Oh, this little girl. She's trying to snipe her. Stop.
You guys, everyone focus. Look. Is everyone paying attention? Okay. We're going to be focusing on character traits today. And I'm going to read a book as a class. And as we go through it, you're going to focus on the main character and all the supporting characters, because there's more than one character. So we're going to well, Miss Dickerson will do attendance when she gets back. But I think it's right here.
Oh, hi, Leah.
Okay. So as we read, we're going to look for the characters. We're going to identify them as the main character or a supporting character, one or the other. And then we're going to look at the main character and look at their traits. So does anyone know what a character trait is? But if you guys cannot sit still quietly next to each other, you're going to have to.
So usually, the rest of the row, they usually have to. You don't mess it around. You don't. Yeah, like how.
Hold on. Hey, who's talking right now?
Yeah. Hey.
Logan, go ahead.
Stop. It's like, what?
So something about them, something that describes them. What are you going to say, Aubrey?
The role that they play in the story. Like,
Kind of. That's whether they're like a supporting or a main character, but a character trait is different. Character trait's more of a describing word. It's going to describe what they like to do, who they're friends with, what they like to wear, what their hobbies are, if they're a good student or a bad student, things like that. That's a character trait. And then today we're going to look for things that they like and they don't like. These are the 4 topics. Things that they believe in.
okay.
So if they believe in the tooth fairy, or if they believe in
Santa.
flying squirrels.
Actually,
No,
somebody tell me who's not here. You, Leah.
No, Leah's here.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's here.
I'm here.
Everybody's here.
William.
Oh, is there 22 or 20?
There's 22.
Listen, she said.
Chini, go sit in the back, please.
Hi, Jamie.
Come on, come on.
I told you to pull my skirt. I didn't. You did too. Ow.
Okay. So as we read this story, I want everyone to be focusing on the characters and the character traits.
Okay. I got you, girl. I'll call her name.
Guys, quiet down. Yes.
I'm sleeping. So can I go? Can I take a nap? You guys, some of us are waiting. No. Guys, yeah, we're trying to listen.
Well, waste the time.
Okay. Chester's Way by Kevin Weeks. Everyone needs to be focusing. If you can't focus, I'll have you turn the ticket and you can go back to your seats.
Good idea.
Otherwise,
That's so funny.
you need to pay attention because this is an assignment and you will be having to do this on your own.
But I don't
Okay, honey. Honey.
Harley,
You come here. Okay. This is not for you, okay? No more.
Yeah, you can't move.
Okay, we're gonna start, so everyone should be listening. Chester had his own way of doing things. He says, "Hello, my name is Chester. I like croquet and peanut butter and making my bed."
That's one thing that I can't.
He always cut his sandwiches diagonally. He always got out of bed on the same side. And he never left the house without double knotting his shoes. Chester always had the same thing for breakfast: toast with jam and peanut butter. And he always carried a miniature first aid kit in his back pocket, just in case.
Ow. It's not. Guys, not 9:40 yet. It's like. Go. It's not 9:40 yet.
Hold on. Did they tell you to send him?
There's like a half an hour left. There's a half an hour left.
So you just sit down.
Okay, come back and sit down. Girls, put those on your desk and come sit down. No, just put them on your desk and eat them after.
Can I have a cracker? Can I
Here we go. And he always carried a miniature first aid kit in his back pocket, just in case. "You definitely have a mind of your own," said Chester's mother. "That's one way to put it," said Chester's father. Chester's best friend Wilson was exactly the same way. That's why they were best friends. Chester wouldn't play baseball unless Wilson played, and they never swung at the first pitch or slid head first. Wilson wouldn't ride his bike unless Chester wanted to go, and they always used hand signals. If Chester was hungry, Wilson was too, but they rarely ate between meals. "Some days I can't tell those two apart," said Wilson's mother. "Me either," said Wilson's father. Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester, that's the way it was. They loved to go on picnics. Once, when Wilson accidentally swallowed a watermelon seed and cried because he was afraid that a watermelon would grow inside of him, Chester swallowed one too. "Don't worry," said Chester. "Now, if you grow watermelon, let it all grow one too." Chester duplicated his Christmas list every year and gave a copy to Wilson, because they always wanted the same thing anyway. For Halloween, they always dressed as things that went together: salt and pepper shakers, 2 mittens on a string, ham and eggs. "And they really are 2 peas in a pod," said Chester's mother. "Looks like it," said Chester's father. In spring, Chester and Wilson shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In fall, they raked leaves together. And in summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester, that's the way it was. And then Lily moved into the neighborhood. Lily had her own way of doing things. "I'm Lily. I am the queen. I like everything." She wore band-aids all over her arms and legs to look brave. She talked backwards to herself sometimes so no one would know what she was saying. "I'm not you." And she never left the house without one of her nifty disguises. Lily waved at all the cars that passed by, even if she didn't know who was in them. And she always carried a loaded squirt gun in her back pocket, just in case. "She definitely has a mind of her own," said Chester. "That's one way to put it," said Wilson. When Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said they were busy. When she called them up on the phone, they disguised their voices and said they weren't home. If Lily was walking on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson crossed to the other and hid. "She's something else," said Chester. "Looks like it," said Wilson. One day, while Chester and Wilson were practicing their hand signals, some older boys rolled by, popping wheelies. They circled Chester and Wilson and yelled personal remarks. Chester and Wilson didn't know what to do. Just when they were about to give up hope, a fierce-looking cat with horrible fangs jumped out of the bushes and frightened the older boys away. Are you who I think you are? Chester asked the cat. Of course, the cat replied. Thank you, Lily, said Chester. You're welcome, Chester, said Lily. Thank you, Lily, said Wilson. You're welcome, Wilson, said Lily. I'm glad you were wearing a disguise, said Chester. And I'm glad you had your squirt gun, said Wilson. I always do, said Lily, just in case. Afterward, Chester invited Lily over for lunch. You have a muscle mouse cup, said Lily. Of course, said Chester. I do too, said Lily. Same here, said Wilson. Chester and Wilson cut their sandwiches diagonally. Lily asked Chester's mother if she had cookie cutters, and she made stars and flowers and bells. That's neat, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. That night, Lily invited Chester and Wilson to sleep over. You have a nightlight, said Chester. Of course, said Lily. I do too, said Chester. Same here, said Wilson. Chester and Wilson wanted toast with jam and peanut butter for breakfast the next morning. Boring, said Lily. Try this instead. This is good, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. That's what she did.
That's a good one.
After that, when Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said yes. When she called them on the phone, they had pleasant conversations. And if Lily was walking on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson waved and ran to catch up with her. Chester and Wilson taught Lily hand signals, and she taught them how to pop wheelies. Lily taught Chester and Wilson how to talk backwards, and they taught her how to double knot her shoes. Girls. Some days I can't tell those three apart, said Lily's mother. Me either, said Lily's father. Chester and Wilson and Lily. Lily and Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. For Halloween, they dressed as the three blind mice. For Christmas, Lily gave Chester and Wilson nifty disguises, and they gave her a box of multicolored shoelaces. Extra long for double knotting.
I want those.
They loved to go on picnics. When Chester and Wilson told Lily about how they had each swallowed a watermelon seed once, Lily swallowed 3 of them. I'll grow a watermelon plant for each of us, she said. In spring, Chester and Wilson and Lily shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In fall, they raked leaves together. And in summer, they reminded each to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester and Wilson and Lily. Lily and Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. And then Victor moved into the neighborhood.
Oh, I knew it. Then they can move it next book.
Okay. So let's talk about some character traits that we saw in the book. Who can give me an example?
Wait, the main character.
Well, yeah, we can talk about who's the main character. And who are the supporting characters?
Lily.
Yeah. And then who are kind of the characters who don't really have a role but they're still in the book? Victor, but is he really a character because he comes in?
The parents.
Yeah, okay, who else? Okay, yeah. And when we talked about character traits, we're usually going to talk about the main characters.
And also the big bullies.
Yeah, they're the pictures. Okay.
What about fat bullies?
So the main characters, Chester is the one who the book is mainly about. And then you have Wilson and Lily, who are the supporting characters, but they might be classified as main because they have a big role in the book. So what are some character traits for Chester? Aubrey?
He's best friends with Charles Wilson.
With Wilson. So that's one of his best friends, Aubrey. First aid kit. So he likes to carry that. Yes.
He always does the same thing in the morning routine. Never changes, like when he gets out of the under the bed and definitely lots.
Yeah, so he has a routine. What else?
Like when that Lily hops in, they kind of try Lily's things.
Okay. So what would be a describing word for that? You're kind of on the right track. But yeah, Lily.
They kind of felt just going there, just telling Lily kind
What?
of sing that, like going to lovers to ready.
It's 9:20. You're going at 9:40, right?
Yeah, just but like just to get ready. It won't take you 20
Yeah,
minutes.
honey, just sit down. You're fine.
Well,
They kind of did they thought how Lily cut her sandwiches was neat, and they kept to try it.
they are trying new things. What didn't he like to do? What were some things he didn't like? Aubrey?
He really didn't like the movie again.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, Nick?
Yep, like
Yeah, they don't throw snowballs at each other. That's a really good one. Did you have one, Aiden?
oh,
That was
they didn't. They both didn't leave the house without
So, that could also be something they like to do. What did they like to do? What was the last one? Yes.
They always raked leaves together and then they remind
So they like to wear sunscreen. They like to rake the leaves.
Yes.
Okay, do you think of anything that they believed in? What could you say?
Each other.
Yeah, that's a good one. William?
They thought
Okay. That kind of goes along with they didn't like her at first. Zachary?
they thought they were going to build watermelons there.
Yeah, they believed that they were going to grow watermelons plant in their stomach.
I thought that was too because I swallowed. I ate broccoli and I thought it would grow.
Okay, we're still raising our hands. Okay, what are some things that they dreamed about maybe? This one's a little bit tricky. Do you have one, Kylie?
I did.
No. Aiden?
What did they do? Maybe the next day.
Yeah. What was something that they made like almost a wish list?
Christmas.
Yeah, do you think they were dreaming about getting everything on that list?
Yeah. It depends on where it was.
Yeah. Okay, what? Are there any other things that could be considered a character trait?
What's a character trait?
Okay, you guys are here. Okay, so when we were reading the book, we were looking for character traits. We were focusing on the characters, and the character trait is like what they like to do, what they believe in, those things we just went over. They're all examples of a character trait. So kind of what makes the character who they are. Like a personality trait, you know what that is? So it's the same thing, but it applies to the character in the book.
They both do the same things.
Yeah, so that they believe in each other, they like to be with each other. And then we said that since Chester's best friend was Wilson, that's kind of a trait, is that that's his best friend. Okay, so does everyone kind of get the idea?
Yeah.
You guys are gonna do a worksheet in a little bit, but we're gonna go over it. Kind of do an example using Chester's way.
Yeah. Let's do this. Boys and girls, I would like... Okay, stop. I haven't gave you directions, Mr. Noah. Sit on your bottom. Listen to this transition. Okay. You are going to go back to your seats quietly. No talking. Get ready to look at the Elmo. You have 10 quiet seconds to make this transition. I'm looking for a marble transition. Can I just hold it? Okay. I feel like I'm holding your professor. Can't you see okay?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to fill out a little person, and he's going to represent our character. And in this book, we said the main character was Chester. So I went ahead and wrote in Chester.
Will you turn on, is the light, oh, there it is, okay.
And then we said his friends were Wilson and Lily. And then his enemies, we didn't really talk about this, but who were the enemies in the book?
Sort of Lily, but like for just like 1 or 2 days. Oh,
For a little bit, yeah. Kylie?
the Lilies.
Yeah, the older boys. So that's who I wrote the enemies were. You can't really see it very well, but under his description, I took some of the words from there. I said he was a young little mouse because he's a little boy, and then he did everything the same every day. So he had a routine that he always did, and he was just like Wilson. So if I was to describe Wilson, it would be almost the same as Chester. And then right here when it says what they did, it's on the same side as friends, so you're going to write what his friends did. And I said they did everything together, because those 3 were the same. They did everything together. Lily taught the boys, and the boys taught Lily. So they kind of learned from each other. They decided that they could be like each other, even though they didn't like Lily at first because she was so different from them. And then the older boys, they yelled mean comments at them and kind of surrounded them and were bullies. So that's what they did, and that's where they were enemies. So you guys are all, you're going to start and you're going to fill out your little character for your book. After you read it, you're going to go through and read it, and then you're going to fill this out. And then on the back, you're going to fill out, you're going to fill out a little, kind of like a license or a description for your character. And I went ahead and drew my picture of Chester, and it asked for the name, age, gender, and physical traits. So his name is Chester, and it never said his age, but I made an inference that he was in elementary school. And he's a male, or a boy, and his distinguishing physical traits was that he had large ears, cinnamon fur, and he liked to double knot his shoes, which is not necessarily a physical trait, but it's a trait, a personality trait. And it never said those in the book, did it? Just like in text, did it ever say those?
Yes.
Did it say that? Yeah, besides that one. But I had to make an inference, and your book might not come out and say it, but you can still write it out.
And you can make inferences from the pictures in your book. All right.
And then we talked about this as a class, that you're going to write things that they like. So what were some of the things we said that Chester liked? Ainsley?
Wilson?
Yeah, he liked his best friend, Wilson. Kylie?
I doubling your shoes and getting up the same time every night on the bed and eating the same thing.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing every day.
So doing his routine. What were some of the things he didn't like? Anyone else? William? So he doesn't like the older boys. Nancy?
He didn't like getting like showed at the schools.
They don't like throwing snowballs. Nick? You don't remember? Then just stuff like that. We mentioned some others. It's okay, Kylie. And then what they believed in. And these last 2 are going to be tricky because it may not come out and say, I believe in this or I dream about that, but you can make inferences. So what do we say he believed in? Logan Quinn?
They like a lot of those.
Yeah. Then
Good job.
what else do you think he believed in? Do you think we can make any more inferences? Kylie?
He probably believed that that Lily was kind of
So, yeah, you could kind of write that. He believed that Lily was mean. It didn't change. What did he dream about? Okay. This was the tough one.
they dreamed about he dreamed about like his Christmas list.
And those last two, you don't have to fill out every line, but in the top two, you should be able to fill out most of the lines. So keep that in mind. And then,
Wait, do we do chess or?
well, you're going to do your own book. Yeah, you're all going to fill it out for your book that I had you pull out at the beginning of class.
So you're going to have to read that first. Yeah, read your book first.
Go through and read it again, focusing on the main characters and the character traits.
And then if you come across something while you're reading, then write it on your sheet.
Okay?
Carly, will you please turn on the lights?
You can get out your book, please. You don't have one. You guys checked out a book on Friday? Arthur's.
Last Wednesday, you should have had a book that we checked out. If you don't have one, you can borrow from Mrs. Dickerson, who does not have a book. Okay.
What is that?
This is her teacher who's watching her do the lesson. I'll get you one, Ansley.
She just puts a character on there so she doesn't distract you guys. Distract you. A character. That looks freaky.
She's watching you, so show her how well you can work. Shh. Voices are off now, please. Name it on the top. Put the date. Today's date is the 27th. Okay. Miss French, what would you like me to do with this? Okay. first page to the last page. I know a lot of you, I see you looking through them, you gotta read it. looks for good characters. All of these have great character traits that you should easily pick out.
they don't get along with.
Mr. Rapper.
Yeah, exactly. It's not necessarily an enemy, but it's someone that they don't get along with, someone they don't like.
I think Mr. No, I was
Mr.